certain intoxication that happens the moment the Alexa Mini LF starts to breathe. Its sensor doesn't just capture light, it seduces it. 14 plus stops of dynamic range spilling effortlessly from shadow to highlights, like silk being pulled across the skin. The colors, God, the colors, they're not merely accurate, they're alive. Reds that smolder, blues that hum, skin tones that feel like warm breath on the back of your neck. This camera doesn't record reality, it paints it with a tenderness only our eye seems to understand. And when you're shooting with it, you feel its heritage, decades of cinema royalty humming beneath your fingertips. A reputation built on trust, worshipped by those who know what true color science tastes like. Okay, I lied. What can I say? I'm a dirty man. I should be beaten, flogged, shamed publicly, and made naked. People should throw panties and oversized bras at... rotten fruit and vegetables and all kinds of dirty things like that. Why? Because I lied. It wasn't an Alexa Mini LF. It was one of these. Check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, allow me the privilege of introducing to you the Bumakafuka, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Watch as she rotates, slowly, deliberately, turning with such smooth, teasing grace. Her head tilting, panning side to side, inviting you closer, revealing every curve, every detail, every angle. Now, what is the number one criterion for a digital cinema camera? Image quality. Because it doesn't matter how much effort you put into getting that shot. It doesn't matter how much blood, sweat, and tears were sacrificed for you to get that shot. Just hire somebody, set up the camera, tell them what you want, point them to the action, and sit back and marvel at the copious amount of sweat the human body can produce. Come on, we're artists. Our art is our soul. Artists, since time immemorial, have gone to extreme lengths to achieve their artistic goals. Look at method actors. Look what they do for their art. Leonardo DiCaprio from the film The Revenant actually lived like a frontiersman. He ate bison livers raw, and he even went as far as to sleep in animal carcasses. Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada bullied and intimidated Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt on and off set, never breaking character. She even went as far as to be absent on breaks and gatherings. All this so the fear and intimidation would somehow permeate their delicate minds and be more apparent on film. That's crazy. I'm an actor, and I've never ever had to resort to method acting in order to successfully pull off a role. I'm more inclined to think that it's called acting. So if you have to resort to making it really happen, then it defeats the object. You're not exactly acting, are you? But you let me know in the comments, do they lack the ability to truly act, or does it unlock some kind of Super Saiyan acting ability? Let me know. So back to what we were talking about. For a cinema camera, image quality is king. Now there is a caveat. When I was in school, we had a saying, the most important part of film is sound. I get it. There's been many times when I've watched something where the visual quality has been somewhat lacking, but the sound was excellent. And in contrast, I've turned off many productions where the visual quality was amazing, but the sound sounded like something that came out of a dog's ass. Here's the thing, you're a professional now, or you're watching this video in a bid to become a professional. So you have to adopt professional practices. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. If it's not broken, don't fix it. However, video and sound are both separate departments. Ergo, sound should be recorded separately and independent of video. Keep an eye on this channel and I'll explore the different methods of sound capture and syncing. So, let's get back to the Milinkovic. Oof, look at her. Ain't she a thing of beauty? She thick. Some people don't like that, but for me, go thick or go home. That extra thickness, That extra weight is essential to take out the micro jitters that you get in those mirrorless DSLRs because they're so light in your hands. I mean, that button layout is superb. That record button is in the perfect place. You put your finger on that button, and you can't miss it. But, like everything in the world, there are pros and there are cons. Okay, let's start with the pros. The image quality. You get a choice of resolution. You get 4K cinematic and standard, 2.8K anamorphic, 2.7K and 1080p. You get a choice of codecs. Blackmagic have created their very own RAW codec, which is, if you ask me, unparalleled. It plays back seamlessly, takes minimal resources to do so, and retains 12-bit color. That's over 68 billion colors. The human eye can only precisely discern 1 to 10 million colors. Let me repeat, that's over 68 billion colors. So if anyone tells you that their cameras are better than yours because they're capable of capturing 16-bit, which is over 281 trillion colors, just say, eat me. You get ProRes, a time-honored and proven editing codec capable of capturing 10-bit color. That's over 1 billion colors. Again, overkill and more than enough to push and pull the colors to almost infinity. Color space dependent. But that's another video. It was designed specifically for editing and real-time playback and color retention. You even have different flavors of the codec, ranging from ProRes Proxy, ProRes LT, ProRes 422, ProRes 422 HQ. So yes, this codec can be used as a delivery codec, a rendering codec, or a proxy codec. It's 19 years old. But then again, I say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. The Milinkovic gives you dual ISO capability. The first base ISO is 400 and the next being 3200. Well, it's actually 1250. But they say 3200 because 3200 gives you the most dynamic range in that second stage ISO. But this dual ISO system, this ability to shoot at a base at 3200, gives the camera the ability to operate in the field of run and gun and guerrilla filming. But you obviously get the best results with preemptive planning and lighting in a narrative cinematic setting. Frame rates, and they are quite impressive. You get 60 FPS in 4K and 120 FPS in anamorphic, 2.7 and 1080p. Connections and modularity. You have a myriad of side connections which enable you to interface a whole host of peripherals that number in the thousands, including mini XLR that you can convert into full standard XLRs, USB-C 3.1 that you can connect SSD drives and USB thumb drives to. You can also use it to control the camera with the relevant software. 3.5mm microphone and headphone jacks, a full-sized HDMI port, thank God. But this outputs only a 1080p signal, not 4K. But that's okay because the camera records 4K RAW internally. And finally, a DC input that can be used with a whole host of alternate battery and power solutions. The 5-inch screen is literally a dream come true. It's so bright and shows you everything that you need. Traffic lights, false colors, zebras, LUTs, and the best menu system on any camera. And if you want to use anamorphics, she even shows you the desqueezed preview in real time. But the only problem is that it doesn't articulate whatsoever. I mean, not even a tilt. So this, unfortunately, does necessitate the use of an external monitor, which is alright because there's a whole host of them, HDMI, SDI monitors. You can get an SDI monitor and use a HDMI to SDI converter and stick it on and look at it. Okay, cons. The Milinkovic doesn't have internal image stability. The Milinkovic does have internal image stability. What do I mean by this? Well, if you use a lens that can be electronically controlled and has image stability built in, you can simply switch it on and you have image stability. If you don't, and you use a vintage or manually controlled lens, and if you shoot in B-RAW, the camera actually records the gyro data to the file and can be used to stabilize the footage in post by going to the secret gyro option in the stability section. There is no autofocus. Well, for initially acquiring focus, yes, but no continuous focus. But this is a professional cinema camera. Professional cinema cameras don't come with autofocus. Pulling focus is another department and is traditionally acquired manually with a dedicated focus puller. So this, if you ask me, is a plus, as it adheres to the description of a bona fide cinema camera. I mean, if you had it, I wouldn't complain and say, oh, this is really bad. But I'd lose a bit of pride from the effort that it took me to acquire that shot and to keep it in focus. I like that. Would it be a bonus if it was included and it was as good as Sony or Canon? And yet it is, but it's not. So don't be greedy. Now, there's a few things that you need to know going in. This camera system is a modular camera system. That means that it was designed to be built upon. As it comes straight out of the box, you can't really do that much with it. I mean, the battery will last you about maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you're really, really lucky. The built-in microphone is okay, but that should be used as scratch audio only and used to sync up an external sound source in post. So any modular components that you need for the camera need to be attached via a cage. And with the cage comes a whole host of 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch holes and the real estate to really get you building. Okay, now you've got yourself a cage, the first thing we need to do is sort yourself out with an alternate power source. Now, of course, this all depends on what kind of situation you're going to put the camera into. Is it going to be on a gimbal? Is it going to be on a tripod? Are you going to be using it for run and gun, or are you going to be using it for nights of film? More on that in a little bit later. Now, the sensor in this camera is a Micro Four Thirds, and it has a crop factor of 1.9. That means if you take a 50mm lens and you put it on the Milinkovic, it'll appear as a 100. Now that can be a plus, but mostly a minus. You can cope with that by simply stepping back from the subject, but in many cases, you're limited by space. For long shots, it's a bonus. It's times 1.9. So 50mm turns to 100. You can take those telephoto shots with ease. However, there is a very ingenious walk around this problem. Enter the speed booster. You can use a speed booster to effectively lower the crop factor of this camera. You also get the added advantage of an extra stop of light. You have different speed boosters from different manufacturers with different magnifications. I use two. I have one that is not electronically operated, ergo I don't have any control over my lens, but I use most of the time manual lenses anyway. And you can get the other one, which is a electronically controlled speed booster, so you can still operate all the functions from the camera. So you have a 0.71 speed booster that will turn your 25mm lens, which will appear as a 50, and make it appear as a 40. Now this makes the crop factor similar and a little tiny bit wider than Super 35. Yep, and that's a wider field of view than the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. So already you've checked the film standard Super 35 film. There's also a 0.64 speed booster which turns your 25mm lens into a 30mm lens. Now I don't own this one, so I'm unable to demonstrate it for you. Sorry about that. But here's a little cheat. A hack, if you will. If you're lucky, you can find yourself a speed booster that's 0.58. Now this speed booster was originally designed for the original Pocket Cinema camera. You know, the one that shot RAW at 1080p? And it actually fits exactly and precisely on the Milinkovic. Sorry, the Pocket 4K. Warning, do not try and put this on any other Micro Four Thirds cameras, for example the GH4 or the G7, because the protrusion at the very back will hit the sensor and ruin it. You'll end up with a broken camera. It fits only and specifically on the Pocket 4K and the original Pocket. Now this speed booster, the 0.58, turns your 25mm lens and gives you a 27mm lens. That's full frame, and you get even more light than the previous speed boosters. But it then gives you two options, unfortunately. One, you can only use full frame or vintage lenses with this because it gives you extreme warping on the extremities of the frame. Now this varies from camera lens design to design, but you're able to crop in to the screen to effectively cut out the warping. Now according to my experimentation, I can crop out the warping and still achieve from a 4K capture a 3.7K frame. Hardly any difference, but a whole wealth of wideness. 2, you can film in 2.7K as the center crops in further, which effectively completely cuts out all warping. Now this will give you extra real estate when it comes to 2.7K, 120 frames per second slow motion. And what the hell is wrong with filming in 2.7K? Various Arri Alexa film in this resolution and then upscale it to 4K with sometimes superior quality and sharpness than originally acquired 4K footage. It also saves you a massive amount of space on your storage as it's recording 2.7K instead of a 4K. And even acquiring at 2.7K, it'll still give you that razor sharp 1080p that is still today a popular delivery standard. Okay, I've gone ahead and overlaid the field of view of each of the Speedboosters for comparison. I've cut and cropped out the extreme warping on the edges of the frame I referred to earlier, but pay particular attention to the extra light that you get from each Speedbooster. Now if you're going to use the Bummercooker on a gimbal, then a big V-mount battery is going to be completely out of question, right? So you're going to need something smaller. You can use a whole host of connections for the battery type that you want to use. Enter NPF batteries. Now to use an NPF battery, I went with an NPF plate that's wired to a 2-pin LEMO connector, which is the Pocket 4K's DC input. NPF batteries come in a whole host of different capacities. You have the 2400, the 5000, the 7000, whatever, and 9800. Obviously, the higher capacity, the longer it lasts. Out of the 2400 milliamp hour, I get about 1 hour of shooting, and on the larger one, the 9600, I get about 3.5 hours. Whereas V-mount batteries will give you a hell of a lot longer than that, obviously depending on the capacity. But you're obviously going to need something to mount the V-mount battery onto, ergo 15mm rods and a base plate. Woof. She's thick. She's thick. I went for a dummy battery which plugs right into the Pocket 4K, and the other end is a D-tap which goes to the battery plate or the battery itself. I love this battery plate because of its articulating nature and the sheer amount of possibilities it offers. And accessories can just keep going on and on, but this video is about how thick she is, not what she's wearing, because that can just come off anyway, right? So once you've got that footage and passed it to your editor, in my case DaVinci Resolve, this is where the magic happens. I mean, those 68 billion colors in B-RAW and ProRes hold such fidelity and fascination. Whatever you want, you can have it. I mean, there's even been times when I've completely and totally lost it. There's times when I've took it and I've put it in and I've gone deep. Oh yeah. I mean, I wanted to see how much she could take. I went so deep, learning its deepest secrets, and she just wouldn't break. She just kept satisfying me again and again and again. And I was hitting it hard, you know, making those desperate noises that you make. But, alas, there is a line between going deep and abuse. I mean, you can't just grab it, touch the button, and biscuits and gravy comes out. You have to learn how to shoot. You have to be aware of the dynamic range. An impressive 13 stops, by the way. ISO settings, you know, the dual ISO capability, the highlight roll-off, Arri Alexa, the sharpness, red camera, the color, Blackmagic design. I mean, people have got their own opinions. They say Arri has the best color science, but Blackmagic Design are the undisputed masters of color in the filmmaking world. I mean, look at their hardware and their software, DaVinci Resolve, Skynet. Color science is rapidly becoming a thing of the past. If you're into capturing footage and never even touching it, just deliver it straight from camera, which this camera can do, by the way. Instead of recording it in film, you can record it in Rec 709. Then yes, color science is a thing. Different manufacturers render colors in different ways. Ergo, a different look forcing you to match footage from different cameras. But with a camera like this, which begs for color grading, the 68 billion colors and that endless latitude makes it both easy and a pleasure to push and pull the colors to wherever you want. And that magic highlight recovery button in the RAW tab, wait! You can take 13 stops of dynamic range and with some creative color grading, make it look like 16 plus. Whatever you want, you can have. You know that condition, option paralysis? I get it. Every single time I pull footage out of the camera and stick it into DaVinci Resolve, I'll just sit there for a couple of minutes, color grading the footage. and suddenly realise that I've been there for 3 hours and I've got 6 different versions of a grade, and I just sit there blinking, paralysed. I can't stress to you how amazing it is to grade this footage. Okay, so I bought this Milinkovic for about £850. Now for that price, it came with 5 batteries, of which only 2 of them worked, but fortunately I had a GH4 and a G7, so I had lenses, as they're the same mount as the Pocket 4K. Now I can see on eBay that these cameras are now starting second hand from £500, and some even come with packed in goodies. Now remember what I said about this camera system? It's modular, so the cost of the extra goodies, the rig tax, is probably going to hit you up for a little bit more than a camera itself, and a lot more than a camera itself, depending on what you choose. So let's take a little look and see how much it is to rig one of these babies. So for this, we're going to go for cheaper but reliable parts, and any walkarounds if we can find any. Okay, so the Pocket 4K itself, 650, 15mm rods and base plate, 20, V-mount battery plate, 50, V-mount battery itself, 102. That's a 222 watt-hour battery, so that's really, really good. 0.71 speed booster, manual, 70, automatic, 95. EF to OM adapter, £10. Vintage Vivitar 28mm f2.8 lens, 35. Manual focus, 60. Focus ring, 15. Top handle, 30. Magic ridge cage, 78. Universal fold holder, 20. Small rig magic arm, 3. Nicey rig RI handle kit, 55. HDMI to USB-C capture card, £9. Samsung SSD, 1TB, 105. And a Yolongu matte box for £50. Now, there's a hack that you can use for the monitor. All you need is a phone or a tablet. Buy a cheap video capture box, and on this box you have a HDMI input and it goes out to a USB-C. You buy yourself a HDMI lead, plug it into the Pocket, into the capture box, and the USB-C plugs into your Android tablet. Download a free video viewing app and you have yourself a 10-inch, 11-inch, 7-inch monitor that can easily attach to your camera. Hell, if you wanted to, you can even use that video app to record low quality H.264 proxies and use them as proxies in your projects. That's how generous Blackmagic is. I mean, can you imagine Red doing something like that? Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Now this rig incorporates some cheap but very usable items and some full fat professional items like the small rig, like the cage. That price is unbelievable. That's mind blowing for the camera, for the rig, and for what you can do with it. That's unheard of. You can't beat that. You can't. Now there's no other camera on this planet, in the Andromeda Galaxy or in ZZ Plural Z Alpha that'll give you this much bang for your buck. It's impossible. Cannot. This is a balls out, genuine, bona fide, full-blooded professional camera setup. Add another £100 for a tripod and she's thick. Now, if you want to go gimbal sized. Okay, so we've got the Pocket itself for $650, an MPF battery plate for $22.99, MPF battery 5000 milliamp hours for £20, the MPF charger £10. Now you can go for a Zrune, Qirune, Crane 3 Lab, which is great for this camera. That'll cost you $250, or you can go for the Moza Air 2, which is $200. An SD card by SanDisk, 512 gigabytes, 80. 0.71 speed booster, manual, 70. EF to OM adapter, £10, and a vintage Vivitar lens for $35. Okay, come with me. Let's go and have a look-see and see what she can do. But you may want to keep in mind that when you take her out, she's going to attract a lot of attention. So if you feel a little insecure about people checking her out all the time, then this could be a problem for you. As for me, she's thick. I love it. The more people looking at her, the more compliments she gets, the more excited I get. The more I keep thinking about going to work on her, taking her places, meeting people. Like I said earlier, go thick or go home.
my bank account, man.
So just your bank account?
My current account. My saving account.
Were you overdrawn?
Damn it, man.
What exactly happened?
You know what I'm like with my house doors? I lock with the keys, put the bolts, check the handle. You know, I was like that from the kid time.
Okay.
No, never mind. Okay. You know that I was like that since kid time.
Yes.
I lock the door. I check the handle.
Well, who's this camera for? Oh, I hate this bit. Don't like putting people in boxes. Don't like putting things in boxes. You can film anything with anything. You can do anything that you want. You can choose what you want, but you have to take into consideration what certain products were designed for, what the creators actually had in their mind when they made this product. So since it's got a dual ISO, the camera is easily capable of doing run and gun and guerrilla filming. It can film in low light. It's not the best, but it is very good. Its modular design can easily incorporate microphones, follow focuses, external monitors, anything. So yeah, it can do it, but personally, I'd go for something more ergonomically designed for that genre. My opinion is that she's best suited for scripted, planned narrative film. Every single con on this camera can be remedied with an external accessory. The 4K is more than adequate for a professional delivery. Its colour is right up there alongside the best of them. The versatility of lens choices, thanks to its Micro Four Thirds mount, gives you option paralysis. There's so many, literally thousands if not tens of thousands. From little tiny dinky CCTV lenses which give you weird aesthetics, blurry here, sharpness here, swirly bokeh like soap and potatoes and gravy and snot, all the way through to full-blooded, bona fide cinema anamorphic glass. The choice is yours. The codec is specifically designed for the most latitude and push and pull ability possible. Not to mention its seamless playback and resolve and all the other editors. Corporate and music videos, no brainer. Anything can do corporate. In my experience, the most important aspect of corporate is 4K, lighting and appearance. And what did I say before? She thick. People be clocking her 24/7. You rig she out, scratch that. Over-rigger, overdresser, and the corporate folk will be drooling. Music videos are absolutely perfect because of its small footprint. I mean, yeah, she thick. You can put this thing on a gimbal, use the standard batteries, maybe take 5 or 6 of them, or use MPF, and you can shoot all day, biscuits and gravy. So, moving into 2026. Is the Bummercooker worth it? That's a resounding yes, but only if you respect what it is. A small, affordable, digital cinema camera that looks like a DSLR. It gives you a world-class image and a professional workflow, but you do have to pay the rig tax and be prepared for manual operation. I mean, it's completely and totally modular, so you're limited only by your imagination and of course your budget. Many, if not all, of the accessories that you're going to buy for this camera can be ported over onto other camera systems when you choose to upgrade. It's that modular that you don't even have to deal with the manual aspect. You can go full automatic, buy yourself a LiDAR system and go autofocus with any lens. Yes, I can understand gear acquisition syndrome. I get it that you want more equipment, that you want other equipment, that you want better equipment. And after all, Blackmagic Design does suffer from a sort of stigma because they're an affordable camera. I mean, I hear YouTubers all the time saying,
"Oh, the Blackmagic Ursa is aimed at a consumer/prosumer."
What are you talking about? These cameras are full-blooded, genuine digital cinema cameras. Everything, whatever you choose to design a cinema camera, Blackmagic Design checks every single box. But that stigma still exists. Why? Because it doesn't say RI on the outside, or it doesn't have like a Terminator type skull that says red underneath it. But Blackmagic is becoming a very popular name spoken in high profile productions. Grab this camera, learn it, use it, earn with it, and later buy an RI or a red and use the Bummercooker as a B cam or the camera that sits on the gimbal. But when you do buy a new camera, it's not going to be as good as the Blackmagic Ursa 17K. Just saying. So we've came to the end of the video, so please like, comment and subscribe. As a matter of fact, If I gain a couple of subscriptions on this video, I'm gonna go ahead and make a short film for you using specifically and only the Pocket 4K. Trust me, you're gonna love it. What do you think about the Pocket? Do you got any lenses with it? What lenses have you got? What do you think the best combination is? Do you have any rigging secrets? Have you got any walk around? Hit me up in the comments and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.